Stay Talk. I'm so excited you're here. We're going to do some Ikea flips tonight. So if you watch my channel, you saw that I went to Ikea last week and bought a whole bunch of stuff, all with the intention of doing some flips. And so let's get started right away. So I'm going to put this screen down so you can see what I'm doing. So I have a tray here that I have put a coat of Dixie Belle's Slick Stick on. Now I want to show you what this tray looked like in the first place. This is the tray. So I bought a few of them because I thought they would make a great class project. So normally Ikea products have Swedish names, and I don't see the Swedish name for this one. So we're just gonna call it a plastic tray, but it's a nice big size, don't you think? And we're gonna put a coat of paint on it. We're gonna use driftwood, and then we're gonna show you a bunch of possibilities of things we could do to it. And then we're gonna do another project, and then we're gonna get back and do what we are going to do to it. Now the reason I'm flipping it over is because I want to get some of this around the sides and underneath, because I think if you were looking at it from the side you would see that. So we're just gonna give that a coat. And this driftwood is a nice light gray. So you can see what I'm doing here is I'm just running that paint against that side there. Now if you come on, feel free to say hi. I don't know if my chat is working or not. I'm still getting used to Streamlabs, but it's a whole lot better than what the previous situation was from the laptop. And if you've watched my channel before, I would think you'd agree to that. And I just hope you're doing well. It's really hot here in central Pennsylvania. I saw 93 on the thermometer today. So, like I said, if you're coming on, let me know where you're from, if you're hot. And we're painting an Ikea tray. So we have around the outside, and now let's just flip it and get the inside. Because I want this to dry so we can talk about some other things and do another project. I love Ikea. If you're lucky enough to have an Ikea in your, well, close to you. So I live in Altoona, and our Ikea is in Pittsburgh by the airport. So it's a decent drive. I mean, it's at least a 2-hour drive, and it's worth it every single time. I love it. I got a good bit this last time. Again, with the idea of doing flips with them. So you'll be seeing those coming up. Thursday, I should have some more of them on my video. I do a recorded video on Thursday, and it's kind of evolved to be kind of what I go through in my business. So it's, and also my personal life. So I share a lot there, and a lot of projects that go on. It's just a little bit more about painting, a little less about painting furniture, and a little bit more about decor, because that's what it's called. It's more about decor. So so let's talk about the Slick Stick that I put on here first. So the Slick Stick is a bonding primer. And it keeps, it's when you have a slick surface, it helps your paint adhere to it. Also, I did 2 coats, so you can see my coverage with this light color is great. So I think I'm going to be able to get away with just 1 coat because I did the primer coat. Okay, so I'm going to try to even out my strokes here. All right, so that's all there is to that, and we're going to do a little bit more to this tray. I'm going to put my my brush here in a plastic bag to keep fresh. Okay, and the lid on our paint for now. We're gonna let this dry. I think we'll be okay with 1 coat, but I'm gonna carefully move this and put it over here to let dry. Okay, so let's do another project. I want to make sure that paint is off my hands because we're going to do something different. So this is from Ikea as well. It is, okay, it doesn't have the name on it either. I was hoping to be able to screw up these names for you. But these bowls are really trendy now. People set bowls on their table and they put a few things in it, and I just thought this one was really pretty, and initially I grabbed a whole bunch of them thinking maybe that would be a good class, but then my cart then I saw those trays and I thought, yeah, let's contact. So I also looked at a couple places online, high-end places like West Elm, and looked at what was trending in wooden bowls. And I got a few ideas. One of them was like white inside and it had blue that was like kind of a tie-dye thing. But I think that the inside of this is so pretty. I don't really want to hide it. I just want to highlight it. And I also want to make it food safe. So what we're going to be doing is using one of Dixie Belle's stencils. This is a silkscreen stencil in the mandala design. And we're just going to put it down in here and then stencil this. And then we're going to coat it with hemp seed oil. So I'll put this down again so you can see. So this is going to be a little tricky because we have to center this. Now silkscreen stencils are a little sticky on the back, so that's going to help us out. It's round, so there is a center point in here, so that should help us out. I'm just going to put my fingernail on what the center is and bring it over to the center of this. And then I'm just going to start sticking this down. Now it's not brand new. These are reusable. So I have used this already. So it's not extremely sticky, but I think we're going to be okay. So I'm going to use Dixie Belle's cotton for this. And the cotton is just the whitest white in the chalk mineral paint line. So I'm just going to use a brush. I'm just going to use this old artist brush, and it's pretty stiff. And normally when you stencil you get rid of most of your paint, but these silkscreen stencils are a little bit different because you're forcing the paint through the screen. So we want to use a little more paint. And we want to make sure that we really work it through that screen. I think this is going to look really cool. So I'm going to keep working out from the inside just because of the sticky factor and the evenness. We just want it to stay even. Because you see that wants to lift up a little bit. I just did a live on the Silk page, the Silk all-in-one mineral paint page, and that was yesterday, and I asked everybody to help me make my design decisions. So I used some stick and style stencils. They're not stick and style. I always want to call them that. Silkscreen Stencils. I used those, and we used some transfers and some knobs from Ikea, and I just kind of got everybody to weigh in and help me. So some good news, you know, on Tuesday Talk we have to share some news, and to like this video, if you like it, that is. We don't want you to like it if you don't, you know, we don't want you to give it a thumbs up if you don't like it, but I hope you do. And also, if you like it, feel free to share it with a friend. That is so helpful for my channel. Also, when you comment, that's also very helpful. It shows engagement. So that helps YouTube to notice me a little bit more and suggest my videos to people. So anything that you do in those lines is much appreciated. Because I just love doing Tuesday Talk, and I love doing my edited videos, my more about decor, and my step-by-step videos. We are almost done with this stencil. And I think it went on pretty nicely. I'm hoping. It's always a big, you know, hold your breath a little bit for the big reveal. Now, there are other stencils you could do. I could do a border around here, but I wasn't exactly sure how they would lay, because most of them are like that. It would just kind of be hard to bend it. So I thought I will use this mandala design that's right in the middle. So like I said, I've used this stencil before, so I don't know how many more uses. They say you can get up to 10 uses out of them. So I will wash it out when we're done, and hopefully we'll get a few more uses out of it. So, are you ready for the big reveal? Let's peel this stencil up and see how we did. I'm gonna hold it up here. Gently peel. I can't see it yet. How are we doing? I love it. That really turned out great. I'm happy with that. Okay, so but we're not quite done. It's really pretty as is, so it's a great decorative bowl, but we're gonna let this sit aside and dry a little bit because we want to do some other things to it. Well, actually, one thing I can do, I want to flip it, and I'm going to use some Voodoo Gel Stain, because I think it's not a real high profile on it, but I do think that that would look really cool to see that on the underside of the bowl. So I love Voodoo Gel Stain. It's water-based, and we just kind of squeeze it on. And I have a little brush here. Let me make sure I have enough brushes for what I'm going to do. I don't. You know what? I'm going to use a little paper towel. We can do that too. Okay, I'm just making this a little bit darker. think it's probably bamboo. This doesn't really want to accept the stain really well. I don't know whether it's coated with anything. I did not use any cleaner on this. This is just making it a little bit darker, but also I haven't used very much stain yet either, so I guess if we use more stain we'll get a little bit darker results. All right, and then after our stencil's dry, we're going to use some Howdy Do hemp seed oil from Dixie Belle, and we're going to coat over that bowl. It's going to give it a sheen, and it's also going to make it food safe. Okay, so like I said, this surface is kind of weird, so it is what it is. But we're going to set that aside to dry a little bit. I just love the inside of that. So I think it looks kind of cool being dark on the outside and light on the inside. But I'm going to set it over here to dry. And then we're going to come back and take a look at some of our other possibilities. So our tray is drying. And I see I missed some on the bottom, but that's okay. So our tray is drying. We're going to leave it over here to dry because it needs to dry a little bit more for the rest of our project. But I wanted you to have a second look at it because we're going to talk about some possibilities. I'm going to show you some brand new products from Dixie Belle, and they're all possibilities of things that we could use on this tray. But I'm going to set that aside to dry, and just going to grab this tray just so you can use it for size reference, so you can imagine what I'm going to suggest to you. So we have some new stencils. So originally I thought of these. This one is called the mud cloth. I have it upside down, but it doesn't really matter in a pattern like that. But this one is called mud cloth. I love this one. I think it's because I painted a rug before on cement, and this would have made my job really easy because I just kept using continuous different patterns and layering them. So I think this is really cool, and I'm really anxious to use it on a piece of furniture. This could be put on this tray. The thing you want to keep in mind though is we'd have extra on these ends, or you could run it this way. I think it would be difficult to manipulate the stencil in this tray just because it's made of mylar. So I just wanted to show you that one. It's a possibility, but I think there's some other choices that might be better. So here's another new stencil. This one is called Tiles. So we'd have the same situation in here of trying to make the stencil be flexible. So I don't think this is the best choice, but it's a really cool stencil, and I'm anxious to use this one as well. If I were going to use this, I would use a bunch of different colors and make it look really like maybe Mexican tile. Okay, so other things we can do. Speaking of tile, I brought this decoupage paper home. These are all in the Dixie Belle Bells and Whistles line. And this is called Colorful Tiles. Now this to me would be an ideal choice. So we could paint the tray whatever color you wanted to using the slick stick. And then this would pretty much fit right in here. So I would trim the ends, and this would just about fit perfectly in here. So you'd have a little bit on either end, but you could take some of the little border stencils that come with the Silkscreen stencils, like different ones, and maybe put a little design there or just leave it. It doesn't matter. I have used this with different colors. I think it would look really pretty with mint julep. It would look pretty with red. I've used it with silk Cape Currant before. It was gorgeous with that. It would look great with rusty nail. It would look good with cobalt blue. Oh, it's just beautiful. I love it. It would look great with mermaid tail. So it's no accident that these great decoupage papers coordinate with so many colors in the paint line. So here's another really pretty one. This one is called Palette Wood Pattern. If you guys were with me, I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks, we did a little table and we decoupaged the top of it with this. And I have that in my shop and I just love it. I think it's so cute. And I used Serenity was the color from the silk line. It would also look really good with vintage duck egg. It would look good with the pink, the soft pink that we have. It would look good with Rebel Yellow or Daisy. Just beautiful. Also, let me see, what other color? Dixie Belle Blue. It would look really pretty with that. Just so pretty with that little floral in there, and also the stencil pattern too. So it would look pretty on white too. So those are some possibilities, but what we are going to do instead is we're going to use the Silkscreen Stencil. This one is the farmhouse. So I think this is the one we're going to use because it's the most kitchen-y, but I thought this one was cute. Now, I kept reading it Rusty Old Truck, but it's Old Truck Rusty. So I think if I'm going to do that, I would kind of cut that apart and reposition it, because for whatever reason that doesn't make sense to me unless the truck's name is Rusty. So, you know, I have a thing for the red truck. Obviously that's my logo. So I love that one. And then there's also this one, Fresh Eggs, premium quality, fresh from the farm. So that one's kind of cool too. Any of them would be nice, but I think what we're going to use tonight is the good old farmer's market. So you'll probably be seeing this offered in a class real soon. So let's see if this is dry enough. Still a little tacky, and you know what? It's still, I think it could use another coat of paint. I won't do that tonight though, because it just won't dry in enough time. But what I think we will do is put the stencil on. We're going to let it dry a little bit more. Put the stencil on, and then I'll paint around it later. You know, I do all these little quick tricks whenever we're live so that we get our projects done. But let's revisit the bowl. Okay, I flipped it because you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rub the rest of that. I just scared my dog. I'm going to rub the rest of this gel stain in so that we don't have anything wet on here. So this is pretty much dry. It dried real nicely. We can also take that hemp seed oil over this part of it too. We might do that, but I just want to make sure it's a little bit more dry before we do that. Okay, so let's look. I don't want to stain this side. I just think it would be cool to have it like that. I might come around and stain the edge. Not sure. You know, I have it sitting on a different angle here, and when I see it sitting that way, I like seeing the underside dark. So I'll try to hold it up so you guys can see. See? All right, so let's feel our stencil. it's dry. So we're good to go. So this is, I was going to bring another bottle. This one's kind of beat up, but this is Howdy Do hemp seed oil. And this stuff is great. We're just going to squirt some of it on here, and then we're going to spread it around. You can either brush it or rub it in, and we're just going to use a paper towel and rub that in. I'm going to do it kind of quickly because I don't want it to... I thought it was kind of messing up my design, but it's not. So we're just rubbing that in. This stuff is great. Like I said, food safe. And what it's going to do is it'll drink in as much as it needs. So what you would do if you had, say, an old dry tabletop or something, you would put it on and then let it go, like come back to it later, even the next day. You can do it like 4 hours or the next day, and then come back, and if it's dry, then put some more oil on, give it a second coat, and then let it go. And then when you keep doing that until you come back, and if there's any left on the surface, then if it's puddling or shiny, then you know it's drank in enough and it's good. Okay, so I think I'm pleased with this hack. Not hack, but flip, right? I think I'm going to take the rest of this oil and just kind of rub it on here. Won't hurt a thing. Okay. So again, we're done. That's a nice project. I think this would make a great gift. It would look nice sitting in an easel or sitting on your table, your coffee table, maybe to hold the remotes. It's a nice piece. Oh, and this only cost $6 at Ikea. So real good bargain. And then the tray that we're using, this only cost like $2 something. I want to say it was like $2.39 a piece. So that's why I got a couple of them, because I thought they'd be really cool for doing a class project. Okay, so this is mainly dry. So because we used the bonding primer, I'm really going to say my prayers and hope that it is indeed not going to peel up when this comes up. So we're going to eyeball this. We really should measure it, but we're just going to eyeball it and put this down. So it's nice and sticky, but it's definitely repositionable. So I'm just trying to estimate the center, and I think we're pretty good. Okay, so you can see that we have it down. Okay, so now we're going to use a color called Gravel Road, which is a nice dark, I call it a brown gray. Very nice farmhouse colors. So we're going to use this brush now. And again, we're not offloading the brush. We're keeping a good amount of paint on there. These also come with a piece of plastic in them that is an applicator tool, and you can use that to apply the paint as well, so you really don't even have to use a brush. So the applicator tool is just kind of like a squeegee type thing. So I go back over it just to work the paint in that stencil. So this is the first time using this stencil, so it's nice and clean, no clogged paint. You do want to wash these out as soon as possible. Like in a situation like this, I should probably have a little bowl or tray that I get with water in it, or use baby wipes and wipe it off right away. That would be smart, but you know, I'll just wash it after we're done. All right, you ready? Ready for the big reveal. I think I'm gonna throw these in my bag so that I'll wash them out tomorrow. Put my lid on, just letting it dry a second here. All right, gonna pull this up. I'm gonna pull it towards me. That way you get to see it before I do. Oh, that looks great. I'm gonna put this down and turn this around. I think that looks fantastic. It turned out really, really good, I think. Lots and lots of detail in there. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased. So, put this back up. So let me know in the comments what you think about this project, and also if it's something that you'd be interested in doing a class. Just let me know if you think that would be something that we could do. I mean, I know I'm going to offer it, but I'm just always curious as to what the interest is. So, and I love hearing your comments anyway. So this is Tuesday, so tune in on Thursday for more about decor. That's on Thursdays at 8 Eastern Standard Time. And then on Saturday we have our step-by-step, which is a furniture step-by-step tutorial. So I really appreciate you joining me tonight for these IKEA flips, and we'll have more flips for you on Thursday, and I'll see you then. You take care. Bye-bye.